Okay, let me set up the intro to this video. Danny shoots me a text. I'm sure he got my number either from me emailing him and forgetting that I gave him my number, or through the course. I kind of just forget how I gave him my number, but he has it, and now he's getting back to me. So Danny shoots me a text. He says, "Hey, let's get your laundromat up and running and making some money. Uh, Shoot me a text whenever you're free." I haven't been free in the last 2 days because I've been busy with work and the laundromat and just life in general. But 2 days later, I say, "Hey Danny, I'm ready to rock and roll." He says, "Cool, be ready in 10 minutes." There's no prep, there's no script. This is real. Um, what you see is what you get. He doesn't kind of like give you a list of things he might ask you. This is all off the top of the dome. All Danny says is, "Hey, be ready in 10 minutes. I'll give you a call." So I'm prepared. My heart's bumping. I'm a little nervous, to be honest. Not to be on YouTube, but honestly just to talk to Danny, because I've seen all his videos. I've taken his course, so I'm a little nervous to talk to Danny because I don't know what he's gonna say, or what I'm gonna say, how it's gonna go. Honestly, I don't even know if he watches my YouTube channel. I can assume that he does because the title of the video is "Free Rent Has Run Out. Income Time Live." And he made that title before I even told him my story. So either he watches my videos or someone who works for Danny watches it. I don't know, but let's roll the tape.
One and all. Let's have a fireside chat, shall we? Today, we are going to talk to a gentleman who, like you, saw me on YouTube. I've never spoken to him. We've had only one very brief email conversation.
By the way, in case you're wondering of where I'm at, I'm in Debtor's Island, baby. I'm in Debtor's Prison. But don't worry about it because Michael Stolefield's here, and we're going to break out of prison. Just to let you know where I'm at.
He did grab up my course. Don't tune out.
Mm-hmm.
Some asshole selling a course, right? I don't do this thing in the laundromat industry in order to make money. Let me explain. I've done that. I do this because if I exited this platform, my consultancy went away. People wouldn't have the sword and shield that I have created. Now, some of you on here are fans. That word means fanatic, and that's great. And those fans know because they've seen hundreds, if not thousands of hours of my free materials on YouTube, what I mean by that. What do you know about laundromats? Answer that in your own mind. Perhaps you're a consumer of that service. You know plenty about your local laundry, whether you've been going to that store for 20 years, or you bounce around as an army brat and you've been to several laundromats. But I'm talking about laundromat investors. Those people that sit in the laundry and do their laundry and get their clothes clean and spend X amount of dollars typically don't even think about the investment. I'm here to teach and train and mentor and talk to you about the investor side of this. It's a brick and mortar business, normally in rented space. Why in the hell is it free laundromat, Danny? Because I did it dozens of times for free. And that's another story for another day. Today we're
Right there, I'd like to pause. In case you don't know who Danny is, Danny has probably over 20 years of laundromat experience. He's owned 30 plus laundromats throughout his time of doing this. He's really successful. He's very successful. If you get his course is kind of like from the time before YouTube. So if you get his course, it looks a little dated. Sorry, Danny, it does look a little bit dated. But in the course, you can see his house. You can see how he lives, and he's already well off. So before he ever becomes a YouTuber, and starts making YouTube money, Danny was already well off, and you can see that from his house. In fact, you can see that from his office back there. So he doesn't need YouTube. Danny's also a lease negotiator, and he's a consultant, and he is worth his weight in gold if you have the gold.
I'm going to talk to an individual who grabbed up my silly course and in really exquisite fashion rapidly went out and signed a long-term lease and has himself a free laundromat. Do I recommend that you do that? Let me be honest. I'm nothing but honest. I don't. I recommend that you at least send me 1,000 emails and annoy the shit out of me before you go put pen to paper. Truly. I want you to have every possible and plausible question answered before you do that. Luckily, and I've got success stories in 28 countries currently, probably more. Not everyone tells me. From coast to coast in the US, luckily here there is no debtor's prison. Malaysia, I'm not sure. You tell me.
I might be Malaysia.
You can go bankrupt dozens of times and still be a quadrillionaire. But I digress. I want to get to this young man, never spoken to him.
Never.
And we're going to help him get his store running. Feel free to jump into the chat as this is live and ask your queries. Little dialing music, Paul.
I'm very nervous during the time of this conversation, by the way. I already said that, but I'll say it again. I'm very nervous. Also, this won't be the full interview with me and Danny. If you want to watch the full interview, uninterrupted by me, link will be in the description to his channel. I'm just kind of giving you play-by-play on certain situations or certain scenarios, scenes, whatever.
Danny.
How'd you know it was me?
Wild guess.
Claudio, as I live and breathe.
It is me. I am Claudio Rojangles. How are you?
You're the Rojangles guy that comments on my YouTube channel.
Yes.
That is me. I'm the infamous Rojangles.
Okay, infamous. Listen, congratulations, dude. What a way to start off the new year. A true free laundromat. I'm excited. I'm really excited for you. So let's have a quiz first. And I don't know anything about you. How old are you? What do you do for fun, family? You got kids? What's your story?
Yeah, so I am 32 years old. I'm ex-military. I spent 8 years in the Air Force, 5 years in the active duty, 3 years in the Guard. And then I got out of that, peaced out, became a paramedic. I'm doing a paramedic thing right now, saving lives.
Good for you.
On my free time, honestly, I get back, I read books, read about philosophy, study laundromats as best I can.
I encourage everyone who watches this video to read up on laundromats. Don't just watch YouTube videos. Don't just watch my stuff or Danny's stuff. Go on Google, Reddit, Facebook. Really know what you're getting into before you get into this business. Because if you think this is passive and easy and a side hustle, you're going to be very mistaken. And it's going to be a rough road for you. So please do your due diligence before you really dive into this. Just so that you can know 100% what you're getting into. Don't make the same mistake I did and end up with a laundromat.
It's been a good time.
Why the Air Force?
Because my favorite color was blue.
Are you shitting me? Is that the canned answer?
Well, no, actually, I had two brothers.
There you go.
They were both Marines. And they told me not to join the Marines. So I took their advice and I joined the Air Force.
You listened.
Marines are hardcore.
I did.
I joined the Navy. I did a 6-year hitch. I joined over a girl. I'm a very passionate, loving guy. My dad, who's former Navy, he was in during Vietnam. He said, "Get out of it." I didn't listen. And then when he realized I was going, he said, "What do you want to do? What kind of job?" I want to shoot guns. He's like, it's not like Sand Pebbles. We watched that Steve McQueen movie together, Sand Pebbles. Great movie.
I've never watched it, but I'll add it to my to-watch list.
Yeah, very good Steve McQueen flick. Anyway, he said, go back to that recruiter and get it in writing what you want to do for a living. You could be a bugler, you could be a priest. You know, he laid it out for me. I said, you had so much fun. He's like, you heard the good stories, all the bullshit, all this sitting around, hurry up and wait.
Yeah, you guys probably don't care about my background, but I was in the military. I was an aircraft mechanic, so I wasn't out there, you know, shooting bullets down range. Those are the real badasses out there. But I was, you know, I was in the hangar fixing airplanes, making sure the plane would take off and deliver the beans and the bullets. Also, I let Danny know beforehand that I was going to make a video on his video, and he said it was totally cool. So I got the approval. I got the approval from Danny.
But I went, we had a war breakout, but this is not about me. The quiz, and you said no kids, no family yet?
I have a kid. I got a newborn. He's about 2.5 months.
Oh my goodness.
First one, you know, I made it to 32 before I had a kid, so I did it right.
Yes. I hope my daughters are listening.
Yes, always hey, I'm a big believer in this is my philosophy that the later you have kids, probably the better off.
Yeah. Well, you got to have a brain before.
My parents had kids very young in life. They're probably in their early 20s when they had, you know, my oldest brother, medium, and then me. So yes, obviously, if you have kids later in life, you'll be more financially stable and able to do this better, right? Start businesses, stocks, yada, yada, yada. Duh.
Or you can pass that on to the next one. My daughters are 14, 17, and 20, soon to all switch. By April, they'll all be the next. The most important thing you will ever do, my friend. The most important thing.
It definitely changes your life.
So you're a full-time paramedic now?
Yes, I'm a paramedic, and paramedic. I'm about to become a firefighter here soon, so I'll be dual qualified. That's pretty much what I do.
Look at you. We're going to hear some fun stories. So why in the fuck laundromats? Where did that hit you? What was your story?
Danny, so I'm a guy who spends a ton of time on YouTube. I'm always on YouTube. I don't watch any TV. I just spend it on YouTube. And eventually, just from watching finance videos, the YouTube algorithm recommended me your channel, The Free Laundromat. And I watched one of your videos. I drank the Kool-Aid. I believed in the program, and I got your course. And before that, I never had.
When did you buy it?
It's probably been maybe a little bit over a year now. Maybe like a month, or maybe like a year and 2, 3, 4 months. That's
the quiz I was alluding to. Because I yanked your email address. So, a year. You got involved in November of 22.
Right. You know the crazy thing though, and I know this isn't the normal thing.
So Danny says I got involved in November 22. I'm not sure if that's when I bought the course or if that's when I sent him the letter of asking him for the LOI, which is a letter of intent. Danny has a saved copy, right, that he will email you, and all you gotta do is fill in the blanks, and that LOI is what you send to the landlord. So it makes it really easy. You don't have to come up with a new LOI. So November 22nd is what he says. And then I ended up getting the laundromat signing. Like I did the whole signature thing. I think it was December. Sometime in December 2nd or December 20. I had a 2 in it. Sorry, I forgot, guys. It's been a while.
When I finished your course, it took me 1 month of scouting to find my laundromat. And I know it's really quick.
December 22nd.
But it didn't take too long to get it.
That's not atypical, to be honest. You know, for some reason, New Yorkers like me, we think in chronological methodology. We want to know exactly how long it's going to take. You know, shit, I know I can get cross town in 20 minutes. I got to get a coffee. I got to get to the office. And I field emails on the regular from folks that say, well, how long before and you know what? I have to say, calm down. This isn't about time, it's about your time. People have too much money, dude. If someone has $300,000 to go buy a laundromat and they go do that thing, they're going to immediately realize that they bought a bill of goods. I know I speak in absolutes, but you understand this. You know this. So they've lost 300 grand. Now, they might turn that laundry cash positive in 6 months or 6 years. They might start earning cash flow, but when do they ever pay back that 300K, if ever? Normally, they don't. Normally, it involves a retool. And we'll get to your story.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's heartbreaking over and over. Now, if these folks have $1 million liquid and they spent 300 grand on a laundromat and they lost it, are they going to go to a cocktail party and lift their glass and say, yeah, we lost 300 grand this year in a laundromat. Don't do it. No, they're not going to say shit about it. So the stories lie dormant and no one hears them. That's why I do this, truly.
Danny, I agree with your philosophy. I don't think anyone should ever buy and create a laundromat when there's plenty of rundown laundromats that you can simply take over, renovate, and throw in some new machines.
Well,
there's no point.
I hate sales, and I don't want to be.
So that's the whole program in a nutshell, right? We're taking over rundown laundromats that have not been taken care of. We come in, we throw new machines in, we do a new paint job, and then we get the store up and running. It's pretty much kind of like a house flip. Whenever you buy a house, or if you're trying to flip a house, you want to buy the worst house in the best neighborhood. That way, when you flip it up and you make it look nice and pretty, you can sell it for a lot of money. Kind of what we're doing here with laundromats, except you don't have to sell it. You just operate it.
Be a salesperson here, and I certainly don't want you to do that in reference to this. But I have to take umbrage with the philosophy word because you have literally done it. So it's not philosophy is what college kids do before they get booted out in the real world. You and I, Army vets, military vets, you and I doing this thing. So, I'm not here to tell you I'm not here to mince your words, but you're doing it.
Right, so, yeah. I mean,
now, I'm going to scold you because when I look at these email threads, at some point, we got together and you wanted to get on a phone consultation and we never did it. And you moved forward and you signed a lease. And that hurts my feelings, honestly, because for me, this is not about charging you or anybody money. It's about the fact that
I believe, if my memory serves me right, what I asked Danny was, because whenever you complete his course, he guarantees you your money back if you get a laundromat. So if you get a laundromat, you can have your $300 back. So I got the laundromat. I reached out to Danny, but I told him I didn't want the $300 back. I said to use that $300 as a deposit, and then I can pay off the rest to get his number because I want to talk to him on the phone. But he was saying in his own words, he never got back to me.
Dude, the last time I got an email, hey, can you give me a free course? The course is $300. It's cheap, right? Pardon me. The last time I got an email asking for it for free was an hour ago. I don't ignore the emails. I write them back. As you well know, I write everybody back. And I say, save up the money. Do what you got to do. If I give the course to someone, what are they going to do with it? How are they going to treat it? Not a rhetorical question.
Oh, my apologies. Honestly, they'll probably just sweep it under the rug. They won't really care about it. When you put in your money into it, when you got some skin in the game, I hate to say that quote because I hate skin in the game quote, but when you got some skin in the game, you really put some more effort into it.
Well, make up a new quote. It's not that hard. You got some ass in the cheeks. You got some grind in the pinky. We both know what we mean. Right. So you here's what happens. I hear this from clients, and I consider you a client. I mean, as you can see, I'm not afraid to talk. People say, I don't want to monopolize your time, Danny. I charge a flat rate to talk to me. And this video might be evergreen. It might be up forever. And so I don't want to talk about what it is, but I think you've even said it's not enough. I don't want to see people skimp in that area, in that arena, because there's so much that needs to be understood. And bro, you've got my number now. You've
I
got
do. I have you saved.
you've got grand opening, what it looks like, what you should be doing, contract attendance. I hope all of those discussions to come. Text me, and I mean that. Send me a text when you are sitting on the pot and wondering if you should shit or get. Send me a text and say, "Well, I'm not sure if this is the right decision." It won't take me 24 hours to get back to you, but I don't want to see or hear or even feel in my heart of hearts that you are out there doing something from some silly course and then taking the plunge on different directions. What did you do with your lease? So how did you find the location, firstly? That's interesting.
Oh, that's an easy one, Danny. I followed the course right to the T. So I hopped in my car and I drove in circles. And I kept driving around, and I kept looking for ones that were not on the internet. And there are plenty that are not on the internet. Like you won't find them on Google.
Oh yeah.
You just drive around, and then once you see one that meets the criteria that you laid out, that's how you know you got to go mine. And then you go on to find the landlord's number. That one's a little bit tougher, but it can be done. You just got to put some effort into it, and that's pretty much what I did.
I want to talk about that real quick. So yes, in his course, he tells you how to start your scouting, how to look for these rundown laundromats. And you should start at your house, right? You start at where you live at, because you don't want your laundromat to be 3 hours away, right? You kind of want to start where you live at and kind of just drive in circles. You, the viewer, probably live in a decent neighborhood. It might not really be an area that's good for laundromats, but at least start your search close to home is what I'm getting at here. Because you will be driving to your laundromat quite a bit. So make sure it's somewhere within, ideally, in a perfect world, like 20 to 30 minutes. But if you have to, then you have to do what you gotta do, and you have to go out further. But start with what is nearest to home.
Did.
Yeah, people don't understand that. I hear you mirroring some of the things that I say, so that's great. You can't find these gems on Google. Ask Siri where the nearest Walmart is, and you'll get the litany, you'll get the list. Ask how late they're open. These businesses suck. I don't mean laundromats suck. I mean the ones that we're going to take over have given up. They stopped paying their phone bill, and therefore, again, so it's your story. You drove around. What was the condition of the store? Was it open? Was it closed? What was going on?
Here's a little tip for you. Here's a little tip. Yeah, I would not use Google to see a ran down laundromat. What I would use Google for is to see what a successful laundromat looks like. So you can hop on Google and see what is the closest and bestest laundromat, and then you can go to that laundromat and visit it. Like, take notes. Is there a client, or I'm sorry, is there an attendant there? What color are the walls? Is there music playing? Are there bars on the windows? What's the HVAC like? Take notes on everything. Like, see what makes a successful laundromat successful. Far too often, like in this journey, I was just looking at run-down laundromats, and I never bothered to think, hey, I should go visit a successful laundromat just to like see what it feels like to be inside there. So I do recommend that to the viewers. Go see what a good one looks like, and even bring some dirty clothes, so you can see how the machines run and what a wash, dry, and fold, the service is like. Because I never use wash, dry, and fold. I never use laundromat. So just bring some dirty clothes to a really successful laundromat and just take note of everything.
On there.
So the landlord was also the operator. She had like a little for rent sign, actually. So I got kind of lucky. She had a little for rent sign on the building, and I got her number. I called her
on the laundromat or on the.
She
building?
had it on the laundromat. Okay. Oh, on the building. She had it on the building.
Okay.
It was like a little red sign that said for rent. So I called her. We met up at her laundromat. It was closed, by the way, so I couldn't walk in there without her approval because it was locked up. But I could see through the outside that the machines were in rough shape. The facility was in rough shape. Things were looking pretty bad. She had slot machines, like these gambling type machines in there. It wasn't too good.
Now this is Texas. Is that even legal?
It is not legal. It's not legal. You can't do that in Texas.
Love it.
slot machines are not legal in Texas. So if you're thinking about doing it and you're in Tejas, don't do it. Also, those little coin pusher games. I've seen a previous, I guess, what do you call it? A guest on Danny's show here, who mentioned he's got a bunch of slot machines, or he mentioned he has a bunch of push type game machines where you put the quarter in and the quarter pushes out more quarters to the, like, I don't know, to the receiver, and you get quarters out of it. That's illegal too in Texas. Don't do those. Don't do any of those type games because you'll probably get shut down by the city.
Was it behind like
But
foggy glass, or was there a guy standing there with a crowbar? How do they get away with that?
she had like a little written note above the slot machines that said, "If you won, you get a free wash." That's how she got away with it.
But it took money
So whoever it did,
and paid
it
money.
took money. I guess. Well, I can't say if it paid money. The sign above the slot machine said that she would give you a free wash if you won.
Oh,
I never used
come
it, so
on. So
yeah,
people are
I can't say.
pumping money in there, and there's no payoff. All right, sounds
Yeah,
fun.
hey.
I can't say it's
All
the
I know
first
is
time
that-
I've heard it, but yeah.
All I know is that I knew that I was gonna get rid of the slot machines immediately because they bring the bad omen.
Right.
And I'm trying to get rid of that.
Did Danny just spit back into his cup? I just noticed. I just noticed that right now. It looked like Danny took a sip and then spat something back into his cup. It was weird.
So I went in. I looked at her machines. They were run down, and they're probably over 20 years old. You could tell by like the color of it and the texture. I guess not the
And the
texture, but
taste.
you could see it and you could tell that this machine was it was old. And I asked her, I was like, "Hey, so why are you leaving this laundromat?" And she told
Well,
me
let me
that
guess.
she had maybe.
Let me guess. She got it for
Go for
free
it.
because her tenant left. She tried to run it for a little while. Or did
I'm a big fan of Danny. I love Danny. He's number one. But throughout the course of this entire interview, he does interrupt me. So I'm not really able to get into a story very deep. And there were like two stories in here that I really wanted to talk about, but I never got the opportunity to talk about it.
she buy the building
Well-
and buy the laundromat?
I think that she bought the building and the laundromat from the past guy.
Ugh.
But she said that she was leaving because people were robbing from her. Her own employees were robbing from her, and she was tired of dealing with it. So she just wanted to get out of it. She told me that she had maybe 2 other laundromats somewhere in Houston. But I was like, okay, whatever. I'll take over this place because this place is a gym. It's a great location.
That concerns me. If she has more than, and these are concerns that I would have brought up if we were doing this together, just saying. If she had other stores, instantly, we know that she's trying to get rid of the dog, right? Now,
Right.
What would
Okay, there's so many lessons to be learned from this video. He says the dog. This is like laundromat. It's not laundromat terminology, but essentially what it is terminology for the worst performing laundromat. So let's say an owner has 3 laundromats. She's getting rid of one of them. She's getting rid of the least successful laundromat. This one right here would be her dog. And this is the one that I picked up. Because you're not going to get rid of your number 1 successful laundromat or your second one. It doesn't make sense. Also, he's about to say, make sure you know where your landlord's laundromats are at. Right? Because you don't want to be in competition with your landlord. It's just not good.
we are after every time we do this is profit. It sounds simple, but it's true. If you buy a laundromat for $1 million or 700,000 or 300,000, you're kidding yourself when you start to cash flow. You may never profit until you pay that money back. I talked to a couple who said we spent $250,000 on the store. It started to profit, and then COVID hit. I was like, what the fuck does COVID have to do with this? Okay, so you started to profit. So you paid the $250 back. Oh, no, the $250 came from a house that we sold. They're lying to themselves. They're saying, since we sold a property and had the $250, that it's not really money. You follow me? Yeah, there's a difference between cash flow and a monetary instrument and a simple investment. You can go into ROI and EBITDA and all the bullshit, but kidding yourself and telling your friends and family. I can't tell you how many of my clients have family that own laundries. And I'm like, is this a distant cousin? No, it's my brother. Well, why don't you learn the business from him? Well, he won't tell me anything. You know why? Because they're making money or they're not. You know what I mean? They don't want to tell you which it is. They're embarrassed by both. You know what I mean? You meet at Christmas, guy's got a new Rolex. Oh, Laundromat's doing well. Or is it?
Danny does love Rolexes.
Is it fake? I interrupted you, so go ahead. It scares me
No,
because
you're fine.
she also, when she has other stores, what was the condition of the store? Was it equipped? Was it, you said the machines were old. Was it fully equipped?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there is fully equipped. She had a bunch of washers and dryers of all different brands just thrown together.
So,
but this was, I definitely agree. This was her dog.
Yeah. So she might decide also to pull the equipment, take it away, leave you with nothing. And don't forget, you understand what Free Laundromat is all about. We sign a lease.
See,
Right there. This is very important. He asked me, you understand what Free Laundromat is all about? And then I go, see, and then he continues with his spiel, with his speech. At the time, though, when I first got into this business, I thought I knew what Free Laundromat meant. I thought it meant Free Laundromat. But it does not mean Free Laundromat. If you're watching this and you think that you can get a laundromat absolutely for free, like $0 out of your pocket, I don't think it's possible. I don't see it happening anyway. Because let me tell you why. The landlord will want a deposit. When you sign the lease, she's going to want a deposit. Danny may be able to waiver that deposit. Okay, let's get rid of that. To turn on the utilities, it's a couple of $1,000s. To turn on the water, the electrical, and the gas, it's not like at your home. To do that in a commercial building, it takes a couple of thousand. Let's just say 4 or 5,000. Danny cannot waiver that. So you will be paying at least $4 or $5,000. To use Danny's services, his lease negotiation, that's several $1,000s. Now, in the video, I will say that Danny does pay for himself, which he does. But you gotta know that he will eventually pay for himself, right? So currently, at this exact moment, it's not free. Like, you have to have that money, capital, in hand. And then later on, because he's an investment, he ends up paying off for himself. I just want you to know that you need to have money on hand. If you think you're going to start this with no money, zero in your bank account, you are absolutely wrong, and you're going to set yourself up for failure. Please have money on hand.
We are really after infrastructure, but if the equipment is there, you emailed me and asked me for my letter of intent as well, right?
I did.
Okay. And you used it.
I did. I used it.
And you notice in there that it says, we are in the business of operating laundromats. It also says that if they harm the infrastructure in any way, that we're out. There has been some bullshit on the internet, and there have been YouTube videos that are a decade old where people said, oh, I went forward with Danny's thing, and they came in and took the copper out. Well, then you're done, because it says that from clause 13 in the LOI says, if the infrastructure, the gas, water, electric, is harmed in any way, you've got your out, you've got your parachute. We're not really after the equipment, but when the equipment is there.
That is what is free. The infrastructure, I'm not sure if I already said this, the gas, the water, the electrical, it's all there already. You're not building a building from scratch. That is what is free when you sign a lease and you don't put any down payment. That's free. Everything else that comes after that, though, it's not so free.
There, day one, we want to start running the store. While your abatement is running, you want to run the store, right? So you're not paying the rent. She closed it because she couldn't make money, and she didn't even have to pay the fucking rent, right?
That's right.
All right. So here we are.
Yes.
You got me on your shoulder, I assume.
You met her
in person, which I would never do. Pardon me. I just wouldn't do that. You know why?
Why?
Why is that?
It's not that I'm pretending to be some high roller that doesn't have the time to meet with a landlady. It's that I am that guy. And if you're not that guy, you need to emulate that process in the beginning. Again, small mistakes. Hundreds and hundreds of people have emailed me and said, Danny, I'm really interested in getting to know you and talking to you because I have a meeting tomorrow with a landlord. I write them back, cancel the meeting. Don't do it. That meeting gives them, I didn't know that you were former military. That means the world to me. You know what I mean. I didn't know that you're a first responder. That means the world to me. When you meet with this landlord, they have the opportunity to size you up. Unless you're the fucking Rock and you just came from the set and you got a ripped t-shirt, she's not going to know who you are, what you're about. And I'd rather give them the opportunity to think more of me than less. And it's not about you. It has nothing to do with you. But a lot of times when is she of foreign descent? Because a lot of times they want to read your lips.
She is a foreign descent. Maybe Vietnamese, Korean, somewhere in there.
Yeah, that's common. And so understand the reason they want to meet, not to have tea, but they want to meet so that they can better understand what you are saying. And that's okay. If you're a fan, and I mean fanatic, if you've seen dozens or hundreds of my videos, you'll hear these people.
Yes, so the landlord will 100% size you up. Just like you're sizing up the landlord. She'll size you up. She'll kind of feel you, or I keep saying she, but it can be he, she, it doesn't matter. They will size you up, kind of get like a general vibe for who you are. They'll ask you, so be prepared, they'll ask you like, hey, do you have any experience in the laundromat business? How many stores do you have? Tell me about yourself. Do you have money in your bank account? These are all questions that they will ask you. At least that I was asked. So you have to be very confident, right? Kind of rehearse. Like, look, go to a mirror and rehearse questions that they could potentially ask you. Sound like you're very confident because they are sizing you up. This is what Danny's so good at. Danny is so good at negotiating the lease. He knows all the tidbits and the lingo and how to communicate very well. That it puts the landlord, like the landlord's heart starts beating, right? Like they start getting nervous. They're like, oh, this guy is a shark. And they start feeling like they don't know anything anymore. While if it's you and the landlord, because you're so new, and this is the first time you're ever doing it, the landlord feels like the shark, and she sees like a little fishy that she's about to eat. This is why I say it's important to bring Danny on board. But as we get into this video, you'll know why I did not do that.
People say, well, let's meet. Let's meet, whether they're a New York Italian or the Midwest, or they happen to be of foreign descent.
No.
And I say, nah, not that I'm too high roller to do that, but let's talk terms. Let's make sure, you've heard me say this. What am I going to say? Let's make sure you're not crazy. I'm not crazy.
I'm crazy.
There's so much psychology to everything that I say and do that it's not haphazard. It's not a mistake. It may seem conversational, but I'm trying to get a point across, not to you, but to them. Anyway, it's too late for sour grapes, but if you would have emailed me, I'd say, dude, don't take the meeting. So can you bring me back? You met where? You met at the store?
Yes, I met at the laundromat. And I can answer why I didn't bring you on. It's because I wanted the course to stand on its own. I wanted to prove to myself that if I use Danny's course and just the course alone and maybe the YouTube videos, that I can get a free laundromat. And then I can go around talking about, because once you get a laundromat, it's kind of hard to tell people you have a laundromat. You get excited about it. You want to talk about it. But I wanted the course to stand on its own. I wanted to see if there was like merit behind it. And there is. I got the course and I got the laundromat. That's the only reason why I didn't bring you on. I understand it.
I hear you.
Okay, so Danny's about to scold me a little bit here in the future, but let me break down Danny's program. I guess by letter, if I had to give every step a letter. So first step, a D, right? You're just watching his videos on YouTube. You just strictly watch Danny's videos on YouTube. I say you are a D student. A C student would be you watch Danny's videos on YouTube and you get his course. And you stop there. That's me. I'm the C student. A B student, YouTube, course, and then you get his number. And you call him up. That way you can actually talk to him and he can answer all the questions that you may have from the course or just in general. And then the A student. The A student is the YouTube videos, the course, the number, and he will negotiate your lease for you. Right? You do all that, you're an A student. But there's an old saying where I come from. C's get degrees. So even if you just use this course, you too can get a free laundromat. Gosh, I said free. You too can get a laundromat. Dude, you may be a D student and get a laundromat. Just know that it's going to be very hard for you, easier for you, right? So keep that in mind.
But look, I'm going to be 53 here in February. My oldest daughter, again, 21 for all intents. She's 2 weeks away from being 21. I feel like I'm more of a father figure to somebody like you, as silly as that sounds.
Uncle Danny.
That doesn't make sense to me. And I'm not picking on you, dude. I'm not a bullshitter. You know that about me. To say, I wanted to see if I could do X and X, and we'll get to where you're at now. I just, at least, because you're saying it's not about money. I get it. You have a good job, right? What everybody considers a good job. But you look around at the old men that you work with, and those guys are about to die in that good job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of them have back issues.
I know firemen, yeah, bad backs. I know firemen. I know plenty of former military. I know medics and EMTs. And then there's the guy that's your age that's always got a stupid smile on his face, and he's got a house in the Hamptons because he owns other businesses. My mother was a flight attendant. Some of the people she worked with would show up a week out of the year. They only did the job for the benefits.
By the way, shout out to veterans of all branches, police officers, firefighter, EMS, dispatch, nurses, doctors, everybody. Fantastic. I love you guys. Anybody who works on the night shift, you guys know how tough it is out there in the world. So, quick shout out to you guys. Love you. Also, it's very important. Danny says that these guys, like the firefighter dudes, they're old and I guess he didn't say they hate life, but he does say that they're old, right? I always think that it's very important to have several sources of income because you never know what's going to happen. You never know if you're going to get hurt on the job. You never know, right, if you're going to get fired for whatever reason. So it's always very good to have several sources of income.
So you met with her. Well, we're still day one. How did the meeting go?
It was pretty straightforward. I walked in and she showed me her laundromat, and she told me that, hey, there's like other people interested because there's always other people interested.
You know what I would have done?
You said, yeah, I know what Danny would have done. He'd be like, well, go somewhere else.
I would have been so. I would have. And do you think I'm lying?
No, I don't.
If I was in the meeting and somehow found myself there in front of this young lady face to face, I would have extricated myself in a very polite way. When you're driving your car and some old lady cuts you off, right? You give her the finger. It's like, fuck yourself. The same lady runs her cart into you at the grocery store, and you're polite. My point is, I'm the same guy on the phone as I am in person. I would have shook her hand and say, good luck with that. And the phone rings the next day.
Danny does do exactly what he says he does. The only issue with that is because he wants you to get the very best deal, right? There's only one issue, is that it may take quite a while for you to get a laundromat. So just keep that in mind. Because Danny wants you the best for you, and he doesn't want you to sign a bad deal or even a mediocre deal, right? He wants you to get a good deal. It may take a while for you to get that laundromat. And by a while, it could be months, maybe into a year. It's just what I heard.
Now, I'm not here to critique you or pick on you because you're in this thing.
But it's for the best.
So where did it, she said, I got other people interested, and you said what?
I mean, I said, that's cool. Like, I'm not going to get into a negotiation war or a bidding war.
Bidding war.
There's my words. There's my words. I love it. I'm so
Yeah,
proud.
I've learned from the master. Um, but I just said, hey, listen, if you have other people, that's great, but here's my offer, or here's my number, here's my offer. Here's my email, blah blah. I'll send you an LOI so you can see what we're about. I kind of gave her like the verbal LOI, but then afterwards I said, hey, I'm gonna shoot you an email, and that's the actual LOI.
What's the
And she was
most
like, okay.
important? What's the most important thing that you want to get out of the way? Step one, word one.
The rent.
Right then, when you were talking,
Price,
what's the most important thing?
price per square foot.
There you go. 3 words. Rate of rent.
All right.
So how did that come up, that conversation? Did it?
I asked her what's the size of the laundromat, and she told me the size. She said it's about 3,300. It's a standalone building. It's got a good amount of parking. I told her that I wouldn't pay any more than $1 a square foot, and that's it. That's as much I'll pay, because I took the course, and I wasn't sure if that was more of a guideline or a rule. I took it as a rule. So I said, hey, that $1 a square foot, that's the most I'll pay.
Still, to this day, I don't know if that's a guideline or a rule. So to this day, I don't know the answer. Hopefully, if Danny ever watches this video, I doubt that he will. But if he ever does, let me know, Danny. I guess I can shoot him a text, right? Because I have his number.
She said, I can't remember. Honestly, this has been like over a year now. But in the end, the $1 a square foot is what I got. First
So
year,
let me.
$1 a square foot.
I'm going to throw away that whole concept that I'm not critiquing you. Do you feel like you did the right thing when you said $1 a square foot?
I thought I did.
No. I know I should have done better. I should have said 80 cents a square foot.
Wrong.
And
No.
oh, okay.
Do we ever start the price per square foot conversation? Ever?
This is important. Danny's pretty much giving me advice on how to negotiate. Right? This is what makes Danny so good. He knows all these tips and tricks through the years of negotiating that I do not know. So he's kind of like giving me a little bit of lesson, right? He's not scolding me. He's more like teaching me on how to be a better negotiator.
You're right. I think the first guy loses.
So
Have a landlord with the pride.
we've established that you are a fan, I think. I don't know. We know that you are drinking the Kool-Aid, which is not a good reference. That's poison. But
I like Kool-Aid.
yeah, I'll send you a link about the whole Jones massacre. So your rate of rent is the most important thing. We've established that.
It is.
And we never speak the words. We never say, because when you said $1, you ended up with $1. So there's a lot more meat on the bone. What we always do, and you've heard me, dude, they won't give us a rate? Good, let me know when you know. You got to talk to your cousin, your nephew, your wife, your real estate investment trust. Go do that and let me know what the rate is. And if we've established that the rate of rent is the most important thing that you're going to get done with this landlord, forget about abatement, which is free rent. Had you ever heard of free rent before you heard of me?
I did not.
Never. But we also don't put a timeline on that. We'll get to that. So rate of rent's the most important thing. And yet you said X and she said okay to X. Now you answer this. What might you have said differently?
So this was not the first laundromat that I went around and asked for. I asked for another one that was in an absolute perfect location. It was surrounded by apartments and extremely heavily packed with Hispanic people. I am in Houston, so there's a lot of Hispanic people here. It was a great location, and it was the only laundromat around. Super perfect. But the only issue was they were asking for about $2.25 per square foot, and this was a 4,000 foot square facility. So, I'm not very good at math, but that's above $8,000 right there per month. Could you imagine if I had gotten that place and not gotten machines? I would have been in for $8,000 Absolutely no way would I have been able to pay that off. Not with 2 jobs. Not even having 2 full-time jobs would I have been able to pay $8,000 a month. I wouldn't screwed. I don't know what happens in that situation. But I thought I won with $1 a square foot. I thought that was great.
I should have gone lower, honestly, or I should let her go first. Ask her what she wants for rate of rent.
Now we're getting somewhere. You have heard me maybe thrice in my career.
Thrice.
Because 1% of what I do is on YouTube. And maybe 3 times I've said, live or otherwise, to landlords, I want X amount, because I know that X is ridiculous. In LA County, right, the rent is supposed to be different than it is in Houston or it is in New York City. No, it's about the business. It's about whether or not the landlord wants to spend that money to vanilla the space. So this is what I do. I want to hear your story. I want to bring you back to that moment, because these moments will be long forgotten. Trust me.
Yes, they are.
Rate of rent, you said about, and again, what you could have said is, what is reasonable for a laundromat? Now we're setting traps for her, right? Now she says $1.25, and without laughing, you're face to face, so you're stifling a laugh. What would Danny do, right? I'd say, do you allocate rent for your other 2 locations? What does that mean, she says. Sure, she's a bit rubish, or maybe it's a language barrier. Do you pay rent to yourself? Do you rob Peter to pay Pauline? She gets it. She's probably good at taxes. If she doesn't have an answer, then we're already winning.
Take notes.
Was this a strip mall? Is that what you said? There's other space there, or is it just a standalone laundromat?
Standalone.
No, this is a standalone laundromat.
So I would ask her in her other locations, Madam, what do you collect for your, because you got to do research. You got to know where, did you know at that point before you met her that she had other stores?
No.
I didn't. And even when she told me she had other stores, she didn't tell me exactly where they were at. So to this day, I'm not quite sure.
Oh, I would find out. You're doing business with someone. All right, so enough. So the rate of rent, most important thing, you asked for $1 and you got it. Is that a huge victory? We've established not really, right? If you asked her what's the best she can do, which is another thing that I hate about potential negotiators, you never say that. That is not a trap for anyone but you. Hey, what's the best you can do? And she says $1 a square foot. You can never go back from that. So anyway, you make her establish that 80 cents is the best, or likely she would have said $3,000 a month for 3,300 square feet. So that's basically $1 per square foot anyway. And now you know that she's into gross lease rates. Never do you say, you noticed in my LOI, it doesn't say plus this triple net. We don't mention it. Is your lease gross or triple net?
It's gross.
Okay. So you pay a flat rate. So you said $1 per square foot, and she instantly thought, that's $3,000 a month. Jesus, when this place was open and operating a year ago, I wasn't making $3,000 a month. Gold. Let's do it, other than her slot machine, right?
I did ask the owner for how much money was Laundromat making when she was open. And this can be a complete lie, because she had no records, right? She said that all her other laundromats were kind of like tied into the same tax number. Bull crap. They're not going to tell you exactly how much Laundromat's making. But according to her, she said this place was bringing in $13,000 a month. Do I believe that? No. But that's what she said. I did get to see her books on the soap, selling detergent, fabric softener, all that stuff. I did get to see those books. And that she brought in about $500 a month just from soap. So, little tidbit.
All right.
I'm trying to, this is about you. This is not for the masses. This is not a course. This is not me on stage talking to 300 people, which I'm pretty good at. Not afraid they're going to come at me with pitchforks and lit torches. It's Frankenstein's Monster, by the way, not Frankenstein.
Oh, did I pause it?
In that discussion, you said $1 a square foot. Did you mention free rent? Did you mention TI? What else was mentioned in that first face-to-face?
Yes, I did mention both those things. So let's start with free rent. I asked for the moon and the stars and the sun. I said, give me 12 months of free rent, just because it's going to take a long time to get these machines from wherever they come from, and it's going to take a long time to get the clientele back. Now, does it really take a long time to get these machines back? Not so much. But hey, I'm trying to negotiate here. So I told her a year. If she wasn't having it, she said the best she would do is 4 months.
So that means 6.
And then
I mean, when you ask for 12 and she says the best I can do is 4, and you're telling me that, were those her words? Because if someone says those words face to face, they'll forget that's how they phrased it. The best I can do is 4 months. You know what I would have said next? One word.
What's that?
Why? Go back and watch my YouTubes where I talk live to landlords, especially the ones where we end up with a good, successful long-term lease. Why?
Ask why.
That puts somebody on their heels, doesn't it? The best I can do is 4 months. Why?
Yeah. Had I asked, it's such a simple question. If I had asked why, it definitely would put the landlord on her heels. It's kind of like when someone asks you, hey, tell me about yourself. You're kind of like, what? What do I do? Who am I? You kind of go blank for a second. You're like, oh, I don't even know who the hell I am. So yes, simply asking why would have made a very big difference. So take notes.
Now you're setting another trap, another verbal trap. How long was that store shut down? Do you know?
I want to say it was about 2 months.
Okay. I'm not kidding, and you know this about me. If she said she has other people interested, I would have shook her hand and walked. I might not have ever ended up with that store. If you were working with me and we called her on the phone and she said, I have other people interested, I would have said, let me know if that doesn't work out. And we would have called her in 6 months, 6 months later. You've heard me do that.
He's not kidding. That's exactly what he would have done.
We set these parameters. Because 6 months you can call and say, hey, Christmas came and went, lady. 4th of July, in the books. I walked by the other day and the store is still completely empty and shuttered and there's even more cobwebs. What do you want to fucking do now? So she said, now if you said that it was closed for a year, we have another entire tact that we can take, right?
Take note.
But if truly it's been shut for 2 months, and her operating it and shuttering it tells us a lot, and her owning other stores and shuttering us tells us even more that it's a dog.
It's a dog.
And then there's the fear of others that, well, it'll never make money. You're going to crush her other stores. Find out where her other stores are, dude.
I will. And
sure.
You know, this definitely was her dog, but there was a vibe that I got that she's kind of like defeated. She kind of, maybe she wanted to get out of the laundromat business, and just sort of a vibe that I got when I was there. But I think that this might be her dog, but it for sure can be turned around. Hey, I see great potential in this spot.
I'm only here to tell you that I'm on your side now moving forward without having to give me a dime. And I'm here to tell you that the tragedy of this, and I haven't heard all of it, looking through drips and drabs of your emails where, you know, it's not a difficult thing to send me. I'm big into grammar. If you email me something, I sent you a wrong email, text, I'm sorry. If you text me something, I'm going to text you back with grammar in mind. The spoken word can't be misunderstood. Fuck you, Claudio. Does that sound like I'm angry? No, I'm screwing with you. You know what I mean.
I hear that all the time.
I crossed the border to my penthouse in Mexico, and the same border agent always looks at my license plate, and he says, Navy, right? Yeah, why didn't you join a real branch? And I'm supposed to get offended? I'm like, fuck you, jarhead. I mean, I know the guy's a Marine. Should I say, you're sitting here looking at my passport and I'm bringing my family to my penthouse on my boat? You know? No. Go eat some crayons. It's all in good fun. Love that guy.
It's all love.
Mostly because he doesn't search my truck. There's lots of fireworks. So I digress. You have this meeting and you mentioned free rent and she said 4 months. How much did you end up with?
I ended up with 4 months.
So same rate of rent that she wanted, same 4 months that she wanted. You didn't push back. You didn't. What did you write in the LOI? How many months?
I think, like I said, I started with 12. She said, no, we're not doing 12.
But I'm still.
She wanted 4.
I'm still at the meeting. I'm still at the face-to-face. She said 4. So you still put 12 on the LOI?
Right. Yeah, I still put 12.
Okay.
I mean, I figured why not? Just put it in there. Maybe things will change.
Here's why not. No. Here's why not. Because she already told you in person, and that's just like having a phone conversation. It's just like emailing, which I don't do. I want to hear the inflection in her voice, right? I want to understand how long the pauses are. That's all part of it. I would never put 12 months when she already said no. I would have put 8. Double what she's asking for. That's how you get 6. Or right then and there in that meeting, when you asked her why, you have to listen. She said, I can only give you 4 months. Why? You don't know why she said that to this day, I'm guessing.
I do not know.
Whatever her answer is to the why gives you more ammunition. Well, I have a mortgage to pay. Okay. How much is that? Oh, I'm not going to tell you that. Okay. I like this lady's style already. I had plenty of Korean landladies. I only ask because if that's your fucking why, then I will pay that. After the 4 months of abatement, I'll pay that until I open the doors, and then I need another month to get people in the door. You've heard me do this, right?
Right.
Were you, be honest, the things that you have done and the career that you have chosen, you're my fucking hero. But when you were standing there with this little 4'2" lady, were you scared?
My heart was pumping. It's a different game.
Yeah.
It is a different game. So I'm a paramedic. Danny mentions it. You know, we are used to running calls like cardiac arrest, where people are unconscious or, you know, trauma, whatever. And in those situations, heart rate is steady. When it comes to negotiating something that, you know, that's like a lease for 15 years, my heart rate was like blah, 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 blah. It's just something that if you're not used to doing it, you're going to be nervous, right? You don't want to mess up the deal. You don't want to get a bad deal. So if this is your first time, when you talk to a landlord, yes, you will be nervous. You know who's not going to be nervous? That guy right there. Danny. I'm pointing at Danny, not me. Danny.
Yes. It's fun.
You could be good. You could be really good at one thing, but then when it comes to negotiation and the laundromat business, it's a totally different game you're playing. So you're kind of starting from scratch. You know, you're starting from zero.
But don't worry. Even if you get nervous, you can still do this, right? Practice makes perfect. Go out there and talk to as many landlords as you can, right? If you don't want to bring Danny on, because, listen, I do not work for Danny. If you do not want to bring Danny on, that's completely up to you, and that's fine. Just know that there is a learning curve. So your first couple meetups, like calling people on the phone, they're not going to go so smooth. Meeting people face to face, like landlords, it's not going to go so smooth. Just know, though, the more you do it, the better you will become. That being said, there's not an infinite amount of laundromats out there. So every time you do meet a landlord or you call someone up and you mess it up, that's kind of like one off the books, you know what I'm saying? Like if there's 100 in your town and you mess up number 1, well, now you only got 99 more to go, right? Does that make sense? So either learn quick or bring Danny on.
But you know, You know,
And
the whole
I,
process
I
again is
wouldn't, I wouldn't say don't meet with the landlord because I want you to hire me. I do because I want to help you through the process. You meaning everyone. But I would say don't meet with the landlord because you're giving them too much ammunition. She might have looked at you a certain way and said, oh, this guy's Hispanic or this guy's X or what. Now, I'm not talking about racism. I'm talking about whatever her background is versus yours. Your truck isn't expensive. One of my landladies drove a brand new Mercedes every time I saw her.
How does he know I drive a truck?
Shit, what is she doing?
I do.
And my contract attendant always made fun of her because she was rich. And I drive a Dodge pickup truck. Anyway. You had
I do drive a truck, by the way.
Of course. We all do.
Yes.
You need a truck.
Yes.
You had the meeting. You sent the LOI. You still asked for 12 months. How did she get back to you? In writing?
I believe it was email. I believe she did an email.
That's writing.
If not, yeah,
Is email
you're right.
writing?
If not, then it was a phone call. It's been like over a year now, so my mind's kind of like it's kind of like not remembering every single detail, but most likely it was an email.
Did you call her when she sent the email?
Man, I honestly don't remember that.
It's important.
I probably
Do you know why? Do you know why it's important?
Why is that?
Same thing I just talked about. Being able to hear the inflection in her voice. I don't talk to landlords on the phone in order to give shock value to what I do. I do it. Look, you meet a girl at a bar, you have a great weekend, and it doesn't work out. Don't send her a text and break up. Have coffee, talk about it. That's just 2 days. You got dudes that are breaking up with girls they've been together with for years, right? Over a text. This is how many years is in your lease?
15.
15.
15 years.
Good. This is a 15-year commitment. Can you get out of it? Sure, you can sell the laundromat. You're months away from having...
There's a reason why you want 15. You're buying very expensive machines. They're very heavy. You just can't pick them up and move them anytime you want. So when you get a lease, you can't do it for like 5 years, right? Because let's say you buy the machines, they're very expensive and heavy, and you only get like a 5-year lease. What's going to happen on year 5 when the landlord says, hey, pack up your crap and get out? Now you're screwed, right? You have all these brand new machines. You only had a 5-year lease, and landlord's kicking you out. That's why you need very long leases, like 15 or 20.
A $600,000-$700,000 laundromat. When she
I'll be honest, I think
when she emailed you back, we would have called her, just saying, because we still want to hear what's going on. And they say, well, you're still at 4 months. You're expecting me to budge. Well, you said $1, she gave you $1 because she might have wanted to lease the place for $1,500 a month. I've heard it, dude. I'm flabbergasted because her auntie left her that building and you don't know that. Did you check with the city, the county? Did you check? It's all public record. How much is owed on that building?
I didn't check.
If we find out that she owns the building outright, you know how I find out? You've heard me do it. By not asking.
Well,
Let's say her name is Anita. I'd say, Anita, I like your style. Listen, I can't do 4 months of free rent because I need to get into the wampum. I'm going to be paying for this equipment. Look, I don't know if you own this building outright. I don't know if it was inheritance. I don't know if you have a hefty mortgage. Then I shut up. That's cute, isn't it? You've heard the landlord say back to me, yeah, I own it. Wasn't inherited. Those sentences are carefully formulated in order to activate a response to elevate their serotonin, and I'm making this shit up, but to get them to give you the answer without asking. I don't know if you own the building. I don't know if it was inherited. I don't know if you have a hefty mortgage. You see how it sounded the first time I said it like it's the first time I've ever said it? But when I say it the second time, you say, well, that was well rehearsed. Yes, because it is. Because these conversations are very, very important. I've been robbed buying a car, never did it again before I sold cars. So I'm not here to make you fall asleep tonight and your head hits the pillow and think I fucked up. That's not the thing. I want to see you do this a dozen times.
I never felt like that, by the way.
But if she owns that building outright, or better yet, if it was inherited,
I never felt like I felt as if I had fucked up when I signed the lease. I did feel like I fucked up when it came time to get the machines, and we'll dive into that a little bit into this video.
we don't know the answer to the question why. I can only give you 4 months. That's the best I can do. Why? Then she's going, who is this motherfucker? How dare he ask me that? Why wouldn't you ask her that? Because like you said, your heart is pounding through your chest. You've got a frog in your throat. You're sweating. Your hands are clammy. Arms are spaghetti. You know all that shit, right? It's crazy. It's fun.
It's an Eminem reference.
All right. She emails you back. Say again?
It gets the blood pumping for sure.
Yeah,
it's a total different ball game.
Yeah, different thing. I'm a competition shooter. My daughter and I, who's going to be 21, we compete together. We shoot guns at Steel and Paper. We do 3-gun. It's tons of fun. And new people come out and they compete. They're brand new. And they holster their firearm and they turn around and they say, oh my God, that was terrible. I was so nervous. And I say, that's why we do it. As soon as the nerves wear off, you're either going to make a mistake or you're not going to do this anymore. It's not combat. It's not Navy EOD. There's no life hanging in the balance here. When I talk to landlords on clients' behalf, it's not that I don't give a shit. It's that I never gave a shit, even with my own locations, because it doesn't matter. Until you're making money or bleeding ink, it doesn't matter. If I could read minds, I'd be the greatest lease negotiator on earth, wouldn't I?
That's true.
But I already am. But no, in reality, if I could read minds, I wouldn't do any of this. I'd be playing cards every day. Facing the other way, right? Showing them my cards. Anywho, I'm enjoying this. I'm proud of you, like I said.
Thanks, Danny. And you know what? I understand. I can see that. I know the value that you bring to the table because you are a lease negotiator. You have the gift of gab. And anybody who brings you on, this is true. I'm not a salesperson. I don't get a dime from this. Anybody who brings you on, it's well worth it because you pay for yourself and then some.
All right.
I told you earlier.
Cut that out.
It's true.
Good night, everybody.
I told you earlier. I told you earlier. My train of thought on why I did what I did, it was just to prove to myself. But honestly, this is the harder route. The easier route is to get Danny to negotiate for you because that's what he does. This is his thing. You're not a negotiator. Danny's a negotiator.
The one thing that I don't want to do is turn this into a sales conversation, and it sounds...
Anytime I gave Danny props for being good at his job, he kept on saying, it was like, don't turn it into a sales call. I don't work for Danny. So I wasn't trying to turn it into a sales call, but I do give props to where props is deserved. Danny is very good at negotiating in the laundromat world. So that's what that was about.
Sounds like, and trust me, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. It's not.
And there was, I want to say for full disclosure, I dropped the ball, if anything. I dropped the ball. Looking back at our text threads, you said, hey, can I get, I don't want the refund for the course. By the way, I not only offer, here comes the sales pitch, right? I don't offer a guarantee on the course only, but I do. I always have. 100% guaranteed, no questions asked. Now that it's a streaming course, it's funny. Maybe once a year, someone will email and say, I'd like a refund. Now I can go look and see that they've watched it thrice. Like they not only watched.
Okay, in case you do not have Danny's course, let me break down what it kind of looks like. It's almost like YouTube. You'll have a video, and then below, below that video, you have like a comment section of all his students that comment on that video that they just watched. In between the video and the comment section, so like right here in this area, there'll be like a little quiz for you. The quiz is about the video that you just seen. The quiz doesn't mean anything. It's just meant there to be interactive. And it goes over what was in the video that you just watched. And then, so if all that's like right here in this area, over here in this area is like the chapters, right? So chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of how Danny's course is broken down.
It once, but 3 times. You know what I do? I go into my newsletter, I see their phone number, I call them, maybe once a year. Remember when I called you, you said, Danny, I call them up and I just say, what did I do wrong? 5 minutes, oh, it's not you, it's me. Are we breaking up? You want your CDs back?
CDs?
It's always some bullshit where, good Lord, what do you think it really is? You, my friend, are a doer. You took less than a year from deciding that you wanted to do laundromats and deciding on me, frankly, that means a lot. I know you have other choices, right? There are other commercial lease negotiators that you could use. There aren't. Anyway. You went from meeting her to signing a lease how quickly? How many months went by?
You said 2.
Oh man, I think the entire process maybe was like a month or 2. It didn't take me very long to get it and to sign it and to begin it.
Okay.
And once I took over the laundromat, she took out all her old machines. So then I had the infrastructure.
That's what did I say that aloud or just think it, that she might remove the equipment because she has other stores?
Right. This was kind of a mess up on my part. I should have told her to keep her old, dirty, disgusting machines here so that I could use them and start making a profit from day one. But, I thought the whole course was about, hey, you take out your nasty machines so I can put in new machines. I didn't know how long it would take for me to get those machines from the distributor. So, maybe had everything gone perfect, I would have gone to the distributor and it might have taken like 2 weeks to get the machines in, right? So who knows? But yes, I could have played it better. I could have had the landlord leave her machines in place and didn't use that.
Okay, but we didn't combat that. We didn't combat that with an addendum to the LOI or the lease, right? This sounds like a little sour grapes. Did she just show up or tell you she was going to do it, or how did that happen?
Yeah, she said she would take her machines, but I wasn't really too worried about it because in my mind, I figured that the machines are junk anyways, and that it's all going to be replaced. So
yeah,
it wasn't a big deal to me.
Sure, I did say it though. It's better to keep that old shit. Now you've heard me say this too, live on my channel many times. You can have it. I don't want it. You can have it. I don't want it. But you're not going to take it out until my new equipment shows up.
Take notes.
Right? That sounds familiar to you.
Right.
Now, let me go out on a limb and make a guess. You were so interested and excited about owning your own brick and mortar business that you made some mistakes.
Absolutely.
And I know the answer. I know the answer. And it sucks. I did the same thing early on. I can't allow those small mistakes to happen with my clients. I can't. Can you imagine? I can't.
And this is kind of what my whole YouTube channel is about. I want you, the viewer, to learn from my mistakes so that you do not make them, right? Be a wise person. Don't make the mistake in the first place. Learn from my mistakes. But I also want to show the viewers all my successes so that you can copy me. Take all the bad stuff and throw that in the trash and copy everything good that I do in this journey to getting this laundromat open so that you too can be successful.
I don't want to. I'll say, walk away. Dude, I don't even know how many people where I say, no, this is not no. Then months, if not years later, I find out when they email me, hey, how do I work the contract attendant thing? I've got thousands of contacts in my phone. So I look them up and I say, oh, Bob, hired me to negotiate a lease, but it doesn't say he's a prodigy, right? I go check boxes. I'm not a complete idiot. And Bob is not in that box. He's in a basket of guys that were supposed to be working together, and he fell off the face of the earth a year ago. Well, he went out and bought a laundromat. Or he signed a lease in a space that I said he should not bother with. He's not on my pay no mind list. I'll call him up. I'll chastise him for 10 minutes. You've heard me do it. And say, whatever, good, let's move on. I'll flip a switch. Never met the guy, never broke bread with him. But now he's behind the 8 ball because he either bought a laundromat or he signed a lease in a place that he never should have. And that's usually because it's too small. All right, this is getting exciting.
What is too small? If I remember the course correctly, and he says it on his YouTube videos, so I'm not giving away any secrets. Anything below 1,500 square feet is too small. You want to go 15 and above, but not too big, right? There may be some 7,000 square foot monster out there. You probably don't want that for your first laundromat. Could you imagine the bill that you would receive for new machines on a 7,000 square foot facility? It'd be insane. Yeah. Stick in between that sweet spot of like 15 to like 4 in that range.
So where did you sign the lease, or was it done online?
No, we went to this place in Houston. I can't remember the exact area, but
Our lawyer.
we went to it and I signed the paper. We didn't show up at the same time, by the way. I showed up, and then the lawyer was there, and they said, "Hey, sign here."
You went to her lawyer's office, probably.
Yes.
Bingo.
Was it
Bingo, bango, Danny.
Was it a dark room and there was a guy there that kills people with pencils and a couple of Russians, cigar smoke in the air?
I'm sure that does go on, but you know what?
By the way, it costs money to have your lease signed, right? To have your lease created and signed by the lawyer. I think it costs about $700 here in Houston at the time of this filming. And by the way, you and your landlord don't have to be there at the same time. I was there, I signed. The lawyer was like, okay, I'm going to call up your landlord and have them come by so they can sign as well.
I felt okay because the lease was less than 20 pages. It was about 19.
There you go.
And and I remember what you said about the lease. There can't be anything too crazy in a 19-page lease. I mean, there might be, but who knows? But, I felt okay. I felt comfortable. So I signed on the dotted line. A little bit later, she signed on the dotted line. And wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Laundromat in my hands.
Thought about
Good.
that on the spot.
And then it's all had downhill from there. So what happened next? When she told you before you signed the lease that she was going to...
I don't know how Danny knows it was all downhill from there, because this is our first time ever speaking to each other. So he must watch my videos, or someone is telling him about my videos. In which case, what's up, Danny?
pull the equipment, or after?
I think she told me before. Like I said, she told me before I signed the lease.
And
but I was totally okay with it.
Yeah, just understand. The only difference is you would have gone to the electric and gas and water company and flipped everything on and been running the place. Say, ma'am, you're going to get your equipment, 100%. And in fact, I'm even going to pull it out for you and put it on the curb. I'll give you the day you can pick it up. That's the difference. That's the difference. You start immediately your soft opening, you start your advertising, you start your guerrilla advertising. That's the way we do it. You do hear me say it's a small thing. You can have your equipment, but not until we get the new. And you can put any addendum you want. You can put anything in a lease. You can say, within a year, within 12 months, we will be pulling. What's she going to say? No, it's going to get used more. It's not like a car where there's mileage. Anyway, not making it sound like sour grapes. So you sign the thing.
When it comes to washers and dryers, what really matters is not how old the machine is. It's how many times the machine's been used, right? So you may have a machine there may be a machine for 10 years, but it was never used, right? Who cares? That's pretty much a new machine. Or you may have a machine that's 3 years old, but was used constantly, right? That machine that was used constantly that one's more messed up than the one who wasn't used.
Walk in there with 4 months of free rent ahead of you. The birds are chirping. You said you had a kid. You got a wife?
I do not have a wife.
Okay.
No.
So you don't have anybody yelling at you about this decision. That's good. Unless your daughter.
I did not.
As old as mine.
My girlfriend didn't even know about it. I just did it.
Oh,
I didn't tell anybody about it. I just went and I did the thing.
Including me. All right.
Including you. But yes.
So what was the best part about that day? Did the lawyer hand you an envelope with keys in it?
Yes. She gave me the keys. She gave me the keys, and then I was like, sweet. And I left the laundromat, or I left the place, and I went home. And then I think the next day I went to the laundromat, and the process had begun of the landlord taking out her machine. So I was there.
Oh, okay,
I was seeing
good.
everyone take out the machine.
So she started pulling equipment the next day.
Right, after the lease had been signed.
Okay. Now, did you recoup those days as part of your abatement? Because those are days you could have been doing something.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Danny. Some lady screaming at me that I have a flat tire.
You got a flat
Well,
tire.
you better pull over. Is your tire flat?
Right,
what's wrong with you?
Well, some lady just screamed at me, so I'm gonna pull over and check.
This is exciting.
But
be careful; it might be an ambush.
I think she's after my laundromat. But yeah, so I'm sorry. What were you saying? I apologize.
Not at all. You got axes swinging and shit going down over there. How quickly did she get everything out?
Oh man, I want to say about a week or two. It took about a week or two to do all that.
Did you get those 2 weeks tacked on to your free rent?
I didn't, Danny. I did not. I'm not the lease negotiator. You are.
Stop kissing my ass. Do that. I'm just saying. Dude, you don't know this lady. She's not putting food on the table. She took 2 weeks and you're not doing shit. Did they harm any of the infrastructure?
Nope.
They did not. I made sure they didn't do that.
Good.
Copper was still there. Copper's intact.
Yeah. So you have yourself a 3,300 square foot laundromat, which is a brilliant footprint.
Standalone building.
Standalone building. Plenty of parking.
Yep.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke. Now, where are we in your abatement now?
All right, here is where the birds stop chirping and the sun goes away and all that bad stuff. So the 4 months have come and gone. But let me tell you what happened. So I got the lease. I had a lease in hand, and now it was time to get every distributor to meet me.
Right.
But you know these things. Every area, depending on where you live at, you only have a certain amount of distributors and to service that area. Mm-hmm. So let's just say there's 5 distributors that service a giant area of the United States. I didn't do what you told me to do, where we call them all in. I laid out on the table and I said, hey guys, you guys are all competing against each other. I didn't do that. And I didn't do that because I was kind of nervous. What if I pissed them all off at the same time? This is my first time doing laundromat.
Dude.
I didn't want to piss them all off.
All right. So if you're like me and this is your very first laundromat, you don't really know how the process is going to go. Danny wanted me to call up all distributors and have them show up at the same time. Dude, this is literally my first time doing this. I didn't feel comfortable calling them all up. And, having 10 dudes there that all know a lot about laundromats. Or, let me rephrase that. They know a lot about selling equipment. Because most of these guys don't even have laundromats. Make that clear. Most of your distributors do not have laundromats, but they do sell equipment. So, imagine having 10 car salesmen in your location. It's kind of intimidating, right? It's a lot to handle, especially you're brand new. So my plan was to bring them in one at a time. I said this in the video. One at a time. I knew that my first one was going to be kind of rough, but I kind of wanted to fill out the process. I wanted to be like, okay, that's how it goes. From here on out, I now know what it's like to meet with a distributor. But I keep calling them in one at a time. I didn't want to bring them all in at the same time. And I'll tell you why in the video.
Dude, look, part of bringing me on board is the fact that you have a sounding board. You have someone to tell you, slap you around, and now you have that, okay? But at that point, you didn't. You're talking to me about emotions that don't have any place in business. I'm not saying you have to be a killer. I'm not saying you have to have some pit bull or shark instincts. I'm saying that this is a simple matter. This is your family. This is the food on your table. And when I say, dude, my course is not the same shit over and over. You know that. It's not 101 hours of me saying the same thing. Here's how to get a free laundromat. It's about operations. It's about contract attendance. It's the everything, answering those questions. And I only say once X, Y, and Z, because I know you can rewind it and watch it again. I know you can watch it more than once. I know you can listen to it while you're doing the job. And once I told you, pit the distributors against each other. It's, again, one of the most important things you will do. They have to know that the other guy is breathing down their neck. Whether or not, and I'm not sure what you mean by that, it's a small area. It's the same everywhere. There might only be one distributor might handle 3 brands. None of it makes.
What I mean is that your distributor, let's say you live in Texas, your distributor, like your Dexter, right? That's a brand. Your Dexter distributor, he's the same guy for almost like all of Texas and probably into Louisiana and maybe in New Mexico, right? Like it's one guy who does all the distributing for a certain region of the United States. That's what I was talking about. And there's actually a website that you can go and you can look at it and you can see what guy service what area. I don't have that on top of my head, but maybe I'll make a video on it.
Makes any sense? How do you know you got the best price?
And let's say you want to go with Dexter. I'm just throwing out Dexter because it's a good brand, right? Let's say you want to go out with Dexter and you meet with the distributor, Dexter's distributor, and you're like, oh, I don't like that guy. Screw that guy. But let me go to the next state up, right? The next region up and call him up. He works for Dexter. You can't do that. If you live in a certain area, you have to use that guy. You can't go above him or to another Dexter guy that lives across the country. You can't do that.
Well, what I did, instead of having them all meet up, I had them all come one at a time, and I told them, I said, hey, you're in competition with X, Y, and Z. I'm bringing everyone to the store eventually, and you're the first guy. I said, you're number one. You're the first guy I'm talking to. But understand that I'm bringing someone else to the laundromat. So I said, let's skip all the negotiating. How about you just give me your very best deal from the get-go? And I'm asked the same thing of all the other distributors, and whoever gives me the best deal is going to get this laundromat, is what I told them. So I said,
best price, longest warranty. And then let me guess, one of them wants to take you to lunch, the other one wants to buy you a steak dinner, and they also tell you that their equipment is the absolute best, and that's why you should choose them.
They did say that. They said that their equipment.
Do not let the distributors take you to lunch or buy you coffee or give you any sort of gift. When someone does that, you as a human being feel the need to return the favor, right? If someone buys me dinner, especially if it's expensive, eventually I feel the need to give them something back in return. So to avoid that, do not let these people take you out to dinner. Be like, no thank you. We're just strictly here to talk about laundromats and machines. Thank you, but no thank you. Do not buy me anything.
It's the best, but at the end of the day, it's all the same stuff. Who really care? I mean, a washing machine's a washing machine, a dryer's a dryer. At the end of the day, there's no one who stands head and shoulders above the other one.
Right.
So if someone truly is better than the other one, it's not by much. What really matters is the deal that they give you. So one by one, I brought them in and they gave me their best deal. Now here's the issue. I do have a flat tire. All right, here's the issue.
I do have a flat tire.
What they wanted, what the distributors wanted, and this is why I say I hate the quote of skin in the game. They wanted me to have skin in the game. They wanted me to have 20% of whatever the machines would cost me. So, if the machines all came out to be $300,000, they wanted 20% of that $300,000 before they even made a deal with me.
That is very true. Um, this is why I tell you to have money on hand. There are people who say that you do not need money. That's in my experience, that's completely false. You have to have money on hand. Can you imagine you get a lease for 15 years? You sign a contract that says, hey, for the next 15 years, this is my building. You have no money on hand. You bring in the distributors. They give you get a quote for $400,000, and then they say, if you want to get the machines, you have to give us 20% of $400,000. And now you're like, oh my God, what the heck have I done? Don't find yourself in that position. Later on in the video, I go and say that I got a loan for 15, which I did. But you may not be lucky. You may not be as lucky as that, right? There's no guarantee that you'll get 15. When I was reaching out to people and trying to find where I can get this loan from, dude, some people were quoting me 30%. Some people were quoting me 20. I just happened to get lucky and get a 15. Now, do I think that you can get a 0? No, not in today's economy. I'm sorry. I don't think you can get a 0. No matter how good you are at negotiating, no matter how good looking you are or the gift of gab, I do not think you can get a 0. So please, do not do this to yourself. Have money on hand. Know what you're getting into. Please.
That's strange.
And
Normally, they ask for 30%.
yeah, I had man, what do you call it? Like, there's like, I guess, institutions that will finance you for laundromat specifically. I don't want to say their names, but they were asking for 30%.
Mm-hmm.
The distributor was asking for 20%.
Right.
And this is where, things get a little hairy, because I didn't have 20%. I certainly didn't have 30%.
Let me stop you.
So now,
If you would have emailed me right then and there, knowing what you know now, what would I have written back?
I don't know, Danny.
There you go. I'm not.
And let's expand on this because this is really important. This is like the meat of the whole video. If you have gotten a laundromat, right? If you're a laundromat owner, in my comment section, can you put what your down payment was? Was it 0? Was it 30? Can you please put in the comment section what your down payment was on the loan? That way, these would-be operators, these people who want to get in the business, can understand what they're getting into. Because I just don't see 0 happening.
Not setting traps for you. I'm on your side. You don't know because you didn't do it. You can't assume that these distributors know that you are bringing others in. You told them you were, but they don't believe you. They wonder. These are second and third generation salesmen. And you know how salesmen are when it comes to being sold. It's like doctors make the worst patients. A couple of days, maybe weeks of pitting these guys against each other. We never had a phone consultation. In that talk, I have to hear where you're at and what you do and how you are handling this business. And it's the bigger picture as well. You just said yourself moments ago that the equipment is all the same. You learned that from me. They hate me for that. There's been no research and development on laundry equipment for 30 years. What are they doing better and different? Are you watching TV commercials? Because commercial equipment also trickles down to residential, right? What are they doing different? Name a commercial on TV about a washer. Go.
Washer? I can't know her.
They don't exist. Occasionally people will say, oh, the Maytag repairman. He sits there and twiddles his thumbs because the equipment's so good that he doesn't have anything to do. Maytag and Whirlpool, the merger, they don't consider any of it a problem, so they don't work on it, so there's nothing being done to make the equipment better or different. Many of the internal parts in these machines are interchangeable. You'll learn that. You might want to put BMW parts in your BMW. God bless you. You think a part that you find in China isn't just as good if it's a fucking hose? But I digress. The lessons that we are learning are many. So you've got a lease, you've got a store, you've met with these guys. How much time has ticked by already?
Oh man, that's a good question.
2 weeks of it is on the fucking landlady, so I'm pissed about that.
Right. It hadn't been that long because I knew that the first thing I got to do is get machines in this place.
Are you journaling? Are you journaling? Are you now like, today I did nothing? How many days in the 4 months have you?
You should journal. If you get on this journey, dude, write everything down. Have like a little diary. Because as you can tell in this video, I'm forgetting stuff already. It's been over a year. So I can't remember every single little detail about what happened. So right off the bat, you should keep a good journal about everyone you call. How did the call go? Who did you talk to? What distributor did you meet with? How did it make you feel? Did you get a good vibe from him? Keep a journal. It doesn't hurt.
Did you just, was the laundromat dark?
Well, here's the thing. Pretty much all 4 months, and I'll tell you why.
Oh.
Because when the laundry or when the distributors were saying that I needed 20%, I didn't have 20%.
Okay. Yeah.
So now pretty much I'm sitting here and I don't know. I'm like, well, what do? Do I renovate a laundromat and never get the machines because I don't have 20%, and I don't see myself getting it anyway. So the months went by, and then eventually 4 months came and gone. And the landlord wanted.
So let me stop you. You have this massive bargaining chip because you, my friend, own a 15-year lease in a location that has conservatively $150,000 worth of infrastructure. All you have to do is flip a switch and run a laundromat out of there. That is power. Again, an email to me. I in some way you thought, well, Danny's not working for me, but I am. I should be fearful that I'm going to get a flood of emails. I already do. The preponderance of the people that email me, they don't even have a signature. So they'll ask me 4 paragraphs of questions, and I write back, I'm not sure what to call you. Fredwina. Get the course. Why? Because you need to understand what you're getting yourself into. How did you get the money to get the equipment? Do you have equipment? I don't want to get to where we're at now, and I'm not trying to drag this out, but 20% down. Well, let's back up. How do you know you got the best price because it was the best? I don't want to answer your question. How do you know you got the best price?
All right, so I saw everyone's quote. Everyone sent me their quote. I had it, but at the end of the day, it didn't matter because I didn't have the 20%.
Yeah, but I want to know, dude. Some people make the mistake, usually young people, to go, one of the biggest purchases they'll ever make in their lives is what? Not a house, but a blank.
A car.
Car. And young people make the mistake of going in without their Uncle Todd or their Uncle Danny, and they go in there and they say, I can afford $300 a month. They're going to get you in that Hyundai Sonata, bro, at $308. Oh, come on, $8? That's a cup of coffee at Starbucks. You can afford that every month. Okay. The mistake that they made was not dealing with the only thing that mattered, which is the fucking price. There's price, trade-in value.
Just so you know, whichever distributor that you go with, and you want to get a loan to pay for these machines, they're gonna have you fill out a piece of paper, and on this paper, essentially all it is they want to know all your assets, right? Because they're gonna go through all of your stuff, all of your income. They want to see all your assets, like a home, a car, any stocks, and then they also want to see any liabilities, right? So like debt. They want to see all your debt. They want to see your tax return. They want to see your income. How much money are you making? When you apply for this loan to get these machines, they will go through everything. They want to see exactly how much money you have, how much money you're making, and what do you owe.
Monthly payment, interest rate, right? The second most important thing is also boring. It's the interest rate, but I digress. The price is all that matters, dude. They just charged you $300,000 for a Hyundai Sonata. You're supposed to laugh at that. I'm kidding. But they're going to give you 74 months of payments, right?
That's right.
Again, we are getting to whatever the sticky widget is for you, and I'm going to help you fix it. But the story is important, and I wasn't with you for this journey.
Right.
How do you know you got the best price?
Well, I mean, I just compared quotes. But at the end of the day, I did get machines. To answer the question, I ended up getting machines.
But I want to get off the subject, but you compared quotes. So if the lowest quote was the guy that you went with, and that quote was earning them 50% over what manufacturer's suggested retail price should be, easy for me to say, if your best quote of all those guys, they all know each other, like you said. They know each other. But you can't count on that. Many of them hate each other. It's just like car sales. Yeah, I work for Lincoln Mercury today, but I worked for Cadillac yesterday. And tomorrow I'm going to work for Dodge. That doesn't mean that I like all the people.
Okay, let's think about this real quick. All the distributors, because there's not many in your area, they absolutely do know each other. They may not be best buddies, but they know of each other. So just think about this. Let's just assume that there is 5 in your area, right? It is in their best interest not to screw over each other by very much, right? There's not going to be one guy who's going to be like, oh, screw all these other guys. I'm going to slash the prices in half. That's not bueno. That's no good. They're not going to do that. They have the power. So if all 5 guys stay strong to what a 20-pound machine should cost or a 60-pound machine should cost, you have to do what they say, right? Because they hold all the cards. They say, hey, 60-pound machine costs this much. And if they all stay strong, like, you can't win. One of them might come down like $1,000, $2,000, right, to get your business, but they're not coming down by very much.
People that work at Cadillac. Logic. That doesn't mean I love the guy at Dodge. It just means that we kind of know who each other are, and we all go to the same bar. It's a necessary part of it. And it's difficult, dude. I get it. If you're not a killer with a switchblade in your rear pocket, it's not easy to do this stuff. You don't have to look anybody in the eye when you send them their quotes. Did you email them each other's quotes?
Yes. So good. I got the lowest bidder, and then the lowest bidder's quote, I took his and I sent it to the other guys, and I said, hey, beat that. And when those guys try to beat it, or if they did beat it, I would take theirs and I'd send it to the original guy and be like, good. Hey, beat that.
Excellent. Yes. Where'd you learn that?
I don't know. This kind of came to, when you're in like a difficult position, you got to think of something creative. You got to be creative about it.
Are you being serious? I literally say, accidentally CC them each other's quotes. You know
I didn't do it accidentally. I'd send it on purpose.
It must have been a subconscious. Yeah.
So now, look, dude, I'm not going to look at your pricing. I'm not going to try to figure it out. But please understand, those prices for the equipment that you eventually ended up buying are not on a website anywhere, are they?
Nowhere.
No. Think about that. For the newbies who are watching this evergreen video, those prices don't exist.
They're all made up.
So what's better? Hips or Speed Queen or Wascomat or American Dryer or Dexter? What's better? They're all the same.
Because I got them.
Let me ask you, what's better, a Ferrari or a Hyundai? Serious question.
Hyundai.
Well, that depends. What are we trying to do?
I don't think it depends. I think a Ferrari's better. So next question, why? Why is it better? You're right. If you're trying to go cross country and never change your oil and bring your family, yeah, I'm not talking about that. What's more expensive? Well, it's the Italian handmade sports car. And for that reason, it's common knowledge that that is a better brand for a certain thing. And these over and over, when you go to a Coin Laundry Association benefit or event, what do you think people are talking about in the dark hallways? How they've been robbed by a distributor more than once. That's what the conversation is. They don't want to go online and talk about that because they're afraid of their distributor. So you have a price. What did you do about the 20 points? Did you shave that at all?
I was able to get it down to 15% in the end. Remind me not to forget, I want to talk about distributors and how shady they can be, but to answer your
He never reminded me. Because I have plenty of stories on these distributors being shady. And they watch... The distributors know who Danny is, by the way. They're not... They'll pretend like they're ignorant. Like, oh, who's Danny? I've never heard of the guy. Oh, you mean that free laundromat guy? They know exactly who the hell Danny is. But he never reminded me. I wanted to tell stories on his show so that his viewers could like understand better the process. But he never reminded me about it. Shit.
question, I got it down to 15%. And then once I got it down to 15, luckily, I knew someone who had money. So I went to them, hand in hat, and I said, hey, can I borrow that money from you? And they said, yes, you can borrow it.
Now, this isn't crooked-nosed Tony from the corner, is it?
No, I still have my knees. They're intact. This was a family member. I borrowed it from a family member.
Good.
Right. So
there's no harm in that. That didn't hurt you, did it? That wasn't a rough day for you, was it?
No. It you know what? It motivated me even more because before that, I was motivated to do this for myself. But now because I owe that person a certain amount of money, I'm like 10 times more motivated. Like, sure. I need to get this place not only up and running, but like a complete success.
All right. You've got a flat tire. You got to get to work. Where are we today? What is the condition of the store right now?
Okay, so they're still working on it. We're doing some remodeling. They just put up the vent exhaust pipes.
They. Who's they?
Yes. The people I hired to work on the laundromat.
The people that you hired, not the distributors' people.
Right. If I had put them in there, the quote would have been even more.
Oh my God. How much did they charge you the line item? How much did they charge for delivery of the equipment?
I think you know the answer. The magic 10,000.
Yeah, I would have turned that to nothing. Here's how we do that. Again, no sour grapes. You email me, you send me that quote, and you say, this is the best quote I have. And I look at it and say, well, we're not going to pay for delivery. If you buy a brand new washer at Lowe's Depot, how much is your delivery charge? Don't say it depends on if you pick it up or if you have them deliver it. I've never paid that charge. I say, well, you deliver it to me, you have profit built in. I'm not going to pay that. It's only $50. Yeah, but they can stroke a pen and get rid of it. It's part of it. $10,000 is a lot of money to a lot of people.
It is a lot of money. What
did you promise the family member?
I promised I'd pay them back all their money. And then I told them that I'd even give them interest, but they weren't interested. They were not interested in the interest. They just wanted their money back.
Good. Excellent. And, didn't want money, didn't want interest, doesn't want a piece of your business.
Nope.
Okay. So the real number is 15%.
Right.
Very good. How much of you today is excited versus scared versus pissed off, if any of that?
Oh, man, honestly, I'm just determined. That's really what I feel right now.
Great answer.
I'm just determined to get this stuff up and running.
Bro, it's this or what? What is your other plan for serious, substantial, generational wealth? What is it? This is it.
This is it, Danny. I felt like I took the hard way. I took the hard road here. Like the easy way, like I said earlier, would have been to get you on board. But I took the hard road, and I feel like the hard road has shaped me to become a little bit better in the laundromat business. Even though I'm not open yet, but I've learned a lot through my mistakes. So now when I go to laundromat number 2 and 3, I'll bring you along.
All right, stop doing that. when you make the next move, whether you're sitting in the bus, which is back east what we call an ambulance,
We call it a box.
and you've got a quiet moment, and you just got out of the shower and you're sopping wet and you can't stop thinking about what you need to do about your grand opening, fucking send me a text. Don't think for a moment. And hey, there's no difference between you and a paying client because of my word, which is all we have as men. This place is going to make you a fuck ton of money as long as you don't make any additional mistakes moving forward, whatever they may be, big or small. Got quiet in here.
I know it is.
What
I know
is
the presentation says
happening?
Danny.
How much of your time is being spent in that laundromat swinging a hammer?
All the
Well,
time.
not so much anymore because I have 2 jobs now. They eat up a lot of my time. But whatever free time I do have, I'm in there doing whatever I'm
Okay,
capable of
that's
doing.
what I want to hear. Not only whatever free time that you have, every waking moment.
Hell yeah.
Are you in the same town where you served?
Nope. I
Are you in
served in
this? That's
Arkansas.
a yes or no question. Are you in the same town where you went to high school?
Yes.
You need to get your friends, your cousins, your buddies from high school, from the football team, and you guys need to be in there. You got Todd, who's an idiot. Have him pulling trash and throwing it in the dumpster. You got Danny, who's a former contractor. He needs to be. Do you own a chop saw?
I do.
Where is it?
It's at the laundromat.
Fucking A. Hallelujah.
Danny, I'm serious. I'm going to get this freaking place up and running, and I'll
Good.
make some money. I'm not kidding.
Good.
But yes, this is laundromats are the future, and they're what's going to give me, to be my own boss and making bukus of money and living the life.
I meant to say my future.
Right now, have you gone back to the landlord and said, look, what you did, and you already said you didn't ask for the 2 weeks, but taking those 2 weeks, I need that time back. Have you gone back to the landlord hat in hand? And look, again, no sour grapes. You did X, she did Y. But have you gone to her and said, look, I can't pay you rent until I open, and the day I do, I will? Yes
I've
or no
not done
question?
that. No.
Why not? What are you afraid of? And fear is not a bad thing here. This is business. What are you afraid she's going to do? Say no?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's all she could say is no. I guess I don't know. Something inside myself tells me that she won't go for that.
But you will never fucking know. So many questions have been asked on this phone call, and you didn't have the answer. Important answers. Why could she only give you 4 months? Why did she need $1 a square foot? That was on you. And now, moving forward, you're paying rent. Did you have months and months of triple nets only? No, because it's a gross lease rate. Does she own the building outright? She's taking money from you, perhaps, not paying a mortgage. We don't know the why. It's a simple question. And I don't want to reiterate what we've already said. But now you have to do things for you. She's just wringing her hands and saying, great, hey, you don't have to have a reason. Look, Monique, call her on the phone. Don't send a fucking email. Don't text her. Call her on the phone, say, I'd like to meet, right? That's her game. Don't meet at her lawyer's office or, well, meet at the laundromat. You're rallying the troops because all of those people are yours, right? Meet her not at noon when everybody's at lunch, but at 10 a.m. this week, while hammers are swinging and chop saws are running, you yourself are filthy dirty. Yeah, set a little bit of theatrics up, right? Have your buddy Todd throwing the trash, pushing her out of the way. Meet her there and say, I can't pay you rent until I get open.
I'll do that.
Be prepared to ask her why when she says no. And now you'll get your answer. So 2 things. The only thing I can help you with, bro, I wish you were around the corner. I wish I had the time. I have shown up for quote unquote interviews with my successful prodigies in my grubbies and said, get out of the way, let's go.
Danny, if you ever happen to watch this video, you are invited to come to this laundromat anytime you want. We can shoot, make a video, shoot the shit. It don't matter. You're always invited.
You've made a lot of really good inroads, not hiring the distributors, contractors as part of it. Any plumber and electrician can install an entire laundromat. It's going to take a while because they need the heavy lifting. The equipment goes in a weekend, right?
Quick. Super quick.
Quick. They build a McDonald's around the corner. It goes up over the weekend. Holy shit. Why? Because there's billions of dollars behind it? No, because they plan everything properly. It's not too late to negotiate well with this young lady. It's not too late to go back to her face to face the way she likes it. All you say, bro, call her on the telephone and say, I need to meet you at the laundromat at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. That's it. Call her 3 times until she answers. Don't text her. Don't email her. And be ready. And then you say, what are the exact words? I can't afford to pay the rent until I open. Now, she's not going to be able to say, well, fuck you, you're not doing anything. Chop saws running, the radio's blasting Tejano music. Smells like farts and ass in there and everybody's working, right? What's she going to say? No? Nancy, this isn't about my profit. It's about being able to pay you, not robbing Peter to pay Paul. And then what? So she says no. What are you going to say next? I'll give you the next line.
Why?
Yes. And then she says, because I have a lease in hand and you contracted for 4 months.
That's
What
a
do you
good
say
point.
next?
That's a good point.
Why? I don't know. I don't know, Danny. What I say?
You say,
She makes
bitch.
a good point.
You say, bitch, I told you I needed 12. You gave me 4. In a moment of
Heck yeah.
weakness, I settled. And I don't want to give you the laundry list, young lady, of the people that have screwed me over here. But they were supposed to get the equipment in on X day. You took 2 weeks of my time to pull your equipment. Ooh. Why are you afraid of your landlord? There's the title of this video. Why are you afraid of your landlord? If you fail, she fails. That is the conversation. And dude, I don't have these conversations hat in hand with landlords, landladies, lords of the land, or anyone's property management company because we get the good lease to begin with. Would you have taken 30 days post grand opening? Now you would. It's a rhetorical question at this point.
The lease would have been good. The lease would have been actually pretty solid had I had the money for the down payment. Because in actuality, it does not take very long to get the machines. It just doesn't. Let's say I'm in that first month of free rent and I met with a distributor and I loved him, right? I loved his deal. And I said, all right, let's make that deal. It would only take, to get the machines installed, like here and installed, maybe a month. And that's everything. I would have had 3 free months to work with. But because I didn't have that 20%, that down payment, that is what truly screwed me over. Not so much the landlord, but I would take all the free rent that she can give me. So yeah, I want more free rent than 4 months because that's what's best. but it's really the down payment that screwed me over in the long run.
You had 12 months in mind, and she said 4, and you said yes. If it was 6 or even 8, even better. But 30 days post-opening is a great tool because all anybody heard was 1 month, right? It's clever.
That's a good tip.
Then she says, well, why the hell do you need 30 days after you've got your grand open? 30 days post-soft. I'm talking about the day that we flip the sign. Can you flip the sign now? Is it ready to run? Is everything working in there?
Not so much.
So I am almost there, Danny. Honestly, we're just
Then
on
open.
like a thing or two.
Open.
I'm waiting on like one.
Open. Do you think there's going to be a brass band and you're going to give away fucking hot dogs? Because you're not. The saddest thing in the laundry industry is a grand opening. Don't do it. How are you letting the neighborhood know? You need to be putting flyers on the cars in your landlady's other laundromat. Boom. Every Sunday. There's your brass band. Follow me, folks. If you don't know what her other stores look like, you don't know why yours is better. I'll tell you, equipment. Buy a fucking neon sign with the $289 I gave you back. Put it in the window. Zzz, open.
I'll do it. You know, I think if everything goes right, and it should go right, that damn laundromat will be open this month.
No, tomorrow.
It's going to be open.
Do you feel better than you did before we talked?
Yes, Danny, slightly better, because I knew in my heart that no matter what, I'm getting this damn laundromat up and running.
Fuck your feelings. This isn't about feelings. This is business. I'm not here to talk about feelings. You have to get this store open. You're a young man. Get your Rolodex out and call those people that owe you or not. Tell the ones that don't, I'm bringing a 6-pack. I guarantee some of your high school buddies aren't even working right now. They would love to come hang out. Don't be prideful. Don't concern yourself with that.
Oof.
Get the store open.
By the way, don't try to do the remodeling just by yourself. I mentioned this in another video. If you have like a Home Depot, go there and grab some day laborers and have them do easy tasks that are very easy. I wouldn't give them anything too complicated. So maybe they're good at drywall, solid at drywall. Painting, they're great at painting. Maybe you need a little bit of carpentry done. Have them do that. And that way, your time can be freed up to do other things. But stuff like electrical, I wouldn't trust them with. Plumbing, I wouldn't trust them with. Gas, I wouldn't trust them with. Just like really simple, easy stuff. Go to Home Depot and get some day laborers. That way, you are freed up to do other stuff.
Start bringing money in. Get the landlady involved and tell her. The words aren't important. Don't go writing it in indelible ink on the inside of your hand and say, I can't pay you rent. Bring her there, let her see that the work is being done. And there's and I'm repeating myself and I'm not a fan. There's tears to the conversation, right? I'm sorry. So I asked you if you feel better. You're doing it.
I said yes.
I said yes.
I did it, Danny. I went from 0 to a laundromat, and I'm gonna keep going. Like no matter what happens, I'm not gonna stop.
Never stop. Never quit.
I'm truly determined. I'm truly determined to get this place up and running. And you're gonna be the first person I let know when those doors swing open.
Yeah. Take lots of videos, pictures. This is an all-cash business, bro. There's no concern with 30, 60, 90-day net payment. Someone puts $1 in a machine, you get to keep a quarter, even after you pay the rent.
That's 25% return.
What else? You know this is live on YouTube. We have
for sure. I mean,
we have a relationship now that we did not have, and that's on me. I don't want anyone to think for a moment that, I mean, I don't sit in a set. This is my office. Laundromats put tens of millions of dollars in the bank for me, even at my exit, even more.
Pretty cool office.
Can't say enough about it. There's not enough time in the day.
He's got a missile right
Who
there.
does this? Who goes on YouTube Live and brings these conversations out? I do. Because this is yet another story of where the distributor drug you down the primrose path. The next time, I'll ask you, you're on here for a reason. What will be different next time?
the next time you and I talk, that store's going to be open.
No, I mean on your next laundry. A lot of differences.
On the next one that I open up, I mean, you're on board.
I'm not saying that either. You keep trying to sell me, and I appreciate it.
I'm not trying to sell you on anything. It's factual. It's what should be done, honestly. Like I said, I don't work for you. I don't work for Danny. But you literally will pay for yourself and then some. It's fact.
Is that flat tire going to put you in a bind? What's going on?
Yeah, so right now I'm sitting outside a grocery or a convenience store. Once I get off the phone with you, I'm going to call a tow truck. I don't have a spare on my truck, so I'm going to call a tow truck and tow my ass back home. And then I'm telling the boss I'm coming in late.
Are your tires bald?
No, they're just really big. I got these big old, like, gangsta tires on my truck. They're like 24-inch tires. And
so maybe
or
you have
24-inch rim.
Maybe you have a puncture or something. You know what, dude? I don't drive anything without the biggest can of Fix-A-Flat that they make. Check your phone before you go hiring a tow. See where the nearest Krager or Checker is and see if you can get a Fix-A-Flat can.
Not that you guys care, but I ended up getting my girlfriend to come pick me up. We went to O'Reilly's, picked up a Fix-A-Flat like Danny suggested, put some air into it, and that was just good enough to get my ass home. And in case you're wondering it wasn't actually the tire that was messed up. Earlier that day, I hit a curve. I hit a curve so bad that it warped my rim. So air was just slowly leaking out, and I didn't notice until later on in the day.
And put that in there, you might be able to drive on it for a day and then get it to Big O.
Heck yeah. I didn't even think about that.
I'm so full of great information. All right. Here's the bottom line. Get this tattooed backward on your forehead. So when you look in the mirror, you can see it. Don't be a fucking stranger. Okay? I'm here to help. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Danny. I appreciate you reaching out and having this conversation. Like I said, I am going to reach out to you, and I'll show you the laundromat when it's up and running.
Good. You better.
He's going to see it.
Goodbye.
All right, Danny. Thank you. Bye-bye.
This has been a really long live, and it speaks.
Yeah, so that was it. That's the live. I don't think anybody has ever made a reaction video to Danny's phone call, like to talking with Danny on the phone. This might be the very first video that does that. So if you're considering calling Danny, right, considering getting his number, that's kind of how it goes. There is no setup, right? He just said he'll shoot you a text. He'll be like, "Hey, when are you free?" And then whenever you tell him that, you have about 10 minutes. He'll go live. You'll see your notifications on YouTube, like your phone will be like, "Danny D'Angelo has gone live," and then you know that you're about to go live. You're about to rock and roll. Danny's a cool guy. I like him. Like I said, I've used this course and I got a laundromat. My only issue with the entire thing is that I do not feel that it is free. So many things have to fall in place perfectly for it to be free. But man, I just don't see all those things lining up, right? Like the economy has to be amazing. Uh, the distributor will have to want to give you 0%, which I just don't see that happening. Even if you go out and get a personal loan, let's say you get a personal loan, and with that personal loan, you pay off the 20%. Like I said earlier, those guys, right, the people who are giving you the loan, or the distributors, are going to go through all your finances. So they'll see that you are $100,000 in debt because you took out that loan, right? Uh, so the loan's not free. You'll have to pay that bank loan, what, 15% interest the very first month on $100,000, on 60,000, 80, whatever. The utility's not free. The effort, the time that you're putting into remodeling the laundromat's not free. You hire people to do it, plumbers, electricians, all that stuff is not free. Now, it's an investment, right? In the future, you're hoping that the laundromat will pay for all that stuff and then some. But that's an investment. That's not necessarily free. Just keep that in mind. That's my only issue with Danny. Otherwise, Danny's a solid dude. He's cool. Big fan. But man, this whole free thing, be careful. Just be careful.
To, I think, who I am as a person. Yes, there's a person here. I don't want to see anyone make mistakes. I don't want to see someone.
And you know what? I'm just going to stop it there. The video's long enough. If you made it through the whole thing, you're a rock star. You're on the right track to becoming a great laundromat owner. So much can be learned from other people's mistakes. Like this guy. So many things can be learned online. Get off YouTube. Go on Google. Research everything you can before you truly dive into this. Because this is not a game. Right? We're not playing a game here. This is like serious business. You're signing a contract. So thank you for watching the video. If you have any questions, please leave your questions in the comments section below. I read all of them. I answer all of them. If you're a laundromat owner, dude, if you own a laundromat, like write a little story in the comment section. Tell me if I'm wrong or right about this 20%, 0% interest stuff. You let me know. Let the audience know, because hey, we're all here to help each other. Thank you. Appreciate you watching the video. Peace out.